Assam, and what comes to mind is tea, the drink that the world knows the state by. But on the river Brahmaputra is another little-known face of Assam, the river islands. Home to over 2.5 million people, these small strips of land lack even the most basic facilities and are often submerged during the flooding season. One man had been grappling with the plight of these islanders for many years. Journalist Sonjay Hazarika often discussed possible ways to save lives during the floods.
In one conversation I remember, he said, how do you reach people? He said, by boat. I mean, how else will you reach them? He realized there's no other way. You can't send ambulances there. You can't build bridges everywhere. You can't build airports and helipads. Nobody is interested in these people. They don't have the clout, political clout for it. So maybe we should think about a ship that will reach communities who are truly marginalized on these islands.
The idea of the boat Akha, or the boat of hope, began to consume Sonjoy. As he saw it, it would have emergency medical facilities, medicines and doctors, and go from island to island during the annual Brahmaputra floods. At India Development Marketplace 2004, the Boat of Hope found its partner in UNICEF. May 2005 saw the Akha make her maiden journey from Dibrugarh. In just 6 months, between May and December, nearly 2,000 people across 14 river islands were treated. This success led to the next idea. Could Akha be made available to islanders all year round? To make this work in the long term, mistakes made by others in the past had to be avoided. Coordination was critical between doctors and medical supply services of the government's National Rural Health Mission, community outreach workers, and the island communities.
We prepare a micro plan on a yearly basis and also on a monthly basis. And we discuss this plan with our medical officers and other paramedical staff in advance. Say for June, we discuss during this May, and we fix the dates and fix the areas, what are the areas we are going to cover. And we give the information to our community health workers that have been appointed at the village level.
Anjana Pegu has been living in Aichung, 3 hours by boat from the nearest town Dibrugarh. Her boy is 3 years old and was among the first to benefit from inoculations that were added to the medical services available through Akha. At camps like this, up to 50 inoculations are done on an average, in addition to the 100 or so adults being treated.
মোৰ ল'ৰাটো এতিয়া 2.5 বছৰ হৈছে আজি আশা কৰ্মীয়ে কৈছে মোৰ ল'ৰাটোৰ বেজি সম্পূৰ্ণ শেষ হৈছে হেক আমালৈ ইয়াত জাহাজ আকা নাওক নহৰ কাৰণে আমাৰ অসম্ভৱ হৈছে নহলে অসম্ভৱ হৈছিল
Over the last 3 years, 4 more districts have been covered under this project. Buoyed by Akha's success, a sister ship, Shehnaz, has been launched. The government too sees a bright future for such projects.
Under private-public partnership, we can take help of the NGOs, active NGOs, and health department or any such other departments. It is a very necessary for successful implementation of this project.
To the man who dreamt of the boat of hope, Akha has launched 1,000 other possibilities to touch the lives of Assam's island people.
We now try to bring a bouquet of services. We can bring veterinary services to the islands. We can bring solar power. Microcredit programs have already started. And the last thing is, through solar power, you can energize communications, cell phones, modern technology, you can bring them to these islands. And that's the next stage, In addition to healthcare, we must impact several sectors at once, so you improve the conditions of people at one go.
Savita Ben's mornings begin with a long walk. In Kothara village, in the arid Kutch area of Gujarat, every woman makes this trek several times a day. The village has a single source of drinking water, and naturally, it's always crowded.
पानी की बहुत कमी है, दिक्कत बहुत है। जब बारिश नहीं होती है ना, तब पानी मीठा नहीं रहता है। ये खारा पानी भरना पड़ता है। आधा घंटा जाना पड़ता है और आधा घंटा आने का लगता है और आधा किलोमीटर रास्ते में लग जाता है, इतना है। और बहुत बारिश, ये धूप बहुत लगती है, तड़का हम इधर घर पे जब पहुँचते हैं थक जाते हैं, और पसीना पसीना हो जाता है। ऐसी बहुत प्रॉब्लम है पानी की यहाँ पे हमारे पास।
Ahmedabad city. Home of the Indian Institute of Management, the country's premier management school. It was here, far from the Kutch desert, that a team of people stumbled upon an idea to alleviate the water problems of arid western Gujarat. As a part of a joint initiative with the corporate sector on another project, the team was experimenting with crops that could be grown with very little water in arid areas. One morning, something caught their attention.
यहाँ पर एक विंटर सीजन के अंदर ख़ास तौर से जैसे ही विंटर शुरू होने के बाद में करीब कहिए कि दिसंबर में ऐसे हमारे इंजीनियर्स ने ऑब्जर्व किया कि साइड में जितना भी फ्रेम के चारों तरफ नीचे की ओर पानी की इतनी बड़ी लेयर दिखाई दी कि ऐसे लग रहा था जैसे किसी ने बकेट भर के पानी डाल दिया हो।
This set them thinking. They realized that this was dew, a phenomenon common in arid areas. But would it be fit to drink? To test this, they built prototype dew condensers. Plastic sheets on iron frames were set up in the open. In the wee hours of the morning, the dew would begin to form on the sheets, which would then trickle down into channels and finally into bottles.
We collected samples from every site that we have been working at every month. Those samples of water were sent to the laboratories that test water and are accredited for that purpose. In our case, we do it in Ahmedabad, and we have monthly results of those tests from several sites. So it is the tests that show that the water is potable.
With the prototypes in place, Professor Sharan and his team participated in the India Development Marketplace 2004 organized by the World Bank. The idea was a hit, and the team was able to return to Gujarat with seed money to build a full-scale dew harvesting model. Sayara was the first village chosen. This prototype has been set up to convince villagers that dew water is drinkable. When fully operational, systems like these will cater to 4 neighboring villages, including Kothara, Savita Ben's village. She's here today to put the water to the final test.
ये पानी हमने जो पिया वो अच्छा था, मीठा भी था। ऐसा जो पानी हमारे गांव में लगता तो हम सभी को अच्छा लगता और शरीर भी स्वस्थ रहेगा, हमारे बच्चों को भी शरीर में स्वस्थ रहेगी, कोई जात की बीमारी नहीं होगी। हमारे जो गांव में ऐसा होगा तो कोई जात की दिक्कत नहीं रहेगी।
The Sayara prototype has also convinced villagers in other arid parts of Gujarat. In Sattapar village in Saurashtra, the community has invested close to 200,000 rupees to build a dew water harvesting system. The government primary school has donated 600 square meters of land on which it stands. Between October and March, it generates 40 to 50 liters of water every day. A simple filter system and chlorination ensure that the water is totally safe for the children to drink.
जो हम खर्चा लगाते हैं और 5, 6, 7 साल ये चलता है तो उसका पूरा पैसा रिकवर हो जाता है। जो हम आरओ प्लांट लगाते हैं तो आरओ प्लांट में उससे 3 गुना के 4 गुना पैसा ज़्यादा लग जाता है, तो उससे बेहतर तो ये ड्यू वाटर का प्रोग्राम अच्छा है।
This model is capable of collecting rainwater as well, making it feasible to use the water for irrigation too. The project founders feel that there's no looking back from here.
Now people are coming, placing orders for dew condensers on their roof, on their ground. Now banks are also coming and saying that why aren't you involving banks in funding this if somebody wants to do that. Now this is a big change.
Sirisha and her friends love to cycle and chat through the winding streets of Kakinada in Andhra Pradesh, all the way to school. Only this happy gang of 4 is not going there to study. They're going there to teach. Sirisha is part of an initiative by CEDO, the Center for Empowerment and Development of Women. She is a volunteer with a special project set up to create community awareness about female hygiene, nutrition and health.
అంటే 10 to 19 years ఈ ఏజ్ ఉన్న వాళ్ళందరికీ వర్తించే పద్ధతి టీనేజర్స్ మనమే 10 సంవత్సరాల నుంచి 19 సంవత్సరాల వయసు ఉన్న వాళ్ళందరినీ టీనేజర్స్ అంటారన్నమాట.
The project is the brainchild of Dr. Vijayalakshmi Alluri. As a physician trying to get people interested in government health schemes, she realized the shortcomings of being an outsider.
Deficiency of vitamin D leads water soluble vitamins. Deficiency of vitamin B1 leads to beriberi, diarrhea.
In sharp contrast, she also saw the easy access that adolescent girls had to the same community.
Adolescent girl from their own community, if she talks in her own way, in her colloquial way, it's also accepted very well because it is she hails from their own community and they love to follow or hear from her. That's what I observed when I went to rural areas.
Many of the poorer sections of Kakinada's population depend on fishing for a living. To get the message of women's health across to them, Dr. Alluri decided to take the help of adolescent girls. With funding from the World Bank-sponsored India Development Marketplace 2004, CEDAW trained 1,200 such girls on the issues that they needed to communicate.
నాకు ఫస్ట్ ఈ ప్రోగ్రామ్ గురించి చెప్పినప్పుడు నేను చాలా సిగ్గుపడ్డాను. ఆ తర్వాత ఇది చెప్పినప్పుడు నాకు చాలా ధైర్యం అనిపించింది. ఇది నాకు అవసరం అనిపించింది. దీని అవగాహన నేను చేసుకున్నాను. సెకండ్ టైం ఇది నెక్స్ట్ టైం ఇది నాకు తెలియడమే కాకుండా ఇతరులకి చెప్పడం వల్ల కూడా చాలా లాభం ఉంటుందని అనిపించింది.
Volunteers like Sirisha spread awareness on a range of health and hygiene issues, not just among their peers, but among older women too.
ఇంకా దుంపలు అవి కూడా పెడుతూ ఉండాలన్నమాట. ఇంకా విటమిన్స్ ఉంటాయి కదా ఆంటీ, ఇవి ABCDEK ఈ విటమిన్స్ ఉన్న అన్ని ఫ్రూట్స్ అవి పెట్టాలి.
The girls enjoy a level of ease with their audience, and opinions are more forthcoming. Today, the government too has decided to introduce creation of health and hygiene awareness in its schools. Teachers have been trained by CEDAW to impart this awareness to young girls in the classroom.
తూర్పుగోదావరి జిల్లాలో 150,000 మంది ఈ అడోలసెంట్ గర్ల్స్ మా ప్రభుత్వ పాఠశాల చదువుతూ ఉన్నారు. మరి వారికి ఈ హైజీన్ కండిషన్స్ మీద చాలా విషయాల్లో తెలియకపోతే మరి ఈ ప్రాజెక్ట్ ద్వారా డాక్టర్ విజయలక్ష్మి గారు ఇచ్చిన ప్రాజెక్ట్ ద్వారా మరి జిల్లాలో 1000 మంది మహిళా ఉపాధ్యాయులకి మరి శిక్షణ ఏర్పాటు చేసి వీరి ద్వారా మండల స్థాయిలో మరి వాలంటీర్స్ని కూడా వారికి ట్రైనింగ్ ఇస్తూ
Dr. Alluri's future plans include trying to involve doctors more actively in the project. Meanwhile, for young Sirisha and her friends, the project has given them the self-confidence to be change makers in their community.
నేను 3 సంవత్సరాల నుంచి మేడం క్లాసులకు అటెండ్ అవుతున్నాను. మేడం క్లాస్లో నేర్చుకున్న విషయాలన్నీ మా చుట్టుపక్కల వారికి మాకు తెలిసిన వారందరికీ చెప్తూ వస్తున్నాను. నెక్స్ట్ నేను కాలేజ్కి వెళ్ళిన తర్వాత కూడా దీన్ని ఇలాగే కంటిన్యూ చేస్తాను.
मेरे को इस कारण जाना पड़ा कि परिवार मेरा थोड़ा बड़ा ही है और खेतीबाड़ी कम है। खेतीबाड़ी की और पैसे कहाँ से लाए, खेती में पैसे आते भी नहीं हैं, अनाज कम होता है और पैसों की ज़रूरत होती है। जब मैं पहली बार शहर गया तो मेरे को कोई जान पहचान वाला नहीं था। अगर नौकरी मिल जाए तो मेरे को बोलते कहाँ का रहने वाला, कहाँ है तू, क्या है तुम्हारा प्रारूप।
This is the story of almost every person who leaves his village in search of work in India's exploding cities and towns. They often end up at places like Hathipol and Udaipur, labor markets where the odds are heavily loaded against the migrants. The migrants' lack of identity is the labor contractor's biggest weapon to drive wages down.
Typically, workers who leave villages and enter cities do so with very little information, with almost no skills and virtually no protection, and therefore the entry is actually one which is very vulnerable. I think the single major crisis that migrants face, rural migrants face in cities, is that of identity.
This is where the Ajivika Bureau, the world's first employment exchange for migrant labor, steps in. It's the brainchild of Rajiv Khandelwal, who has spent many years working with migrant labor issues in South Rajasthan. In 2004, he floated the Ajivika idea at the World Bank-sponsored India Development Marketplace and received an enthusiastic response. Rajiv's field experience had taught him that the best place to begin helping migrants was near their homes in the villages. Ajivika Bureau therefore set up contact centers in rural Rajasthan. People like Hemraj, who want to find work in the city, first come to such centers to register themselves. The information provided by the prospective worker is verified by the Ajivika staff through the village headman. After this, he receives the all-important identity card called the Shramik Parichay Patra. In Rajasthan, this card today has the endorsement of the State Labour Department and is recognized by the state police. Next, Ajivika helps Hemraj join as an apprentice in the hospitality industry. Udaipur is at the center of a huge tourism industry. New hotels are being set up every day and trained personnel are much in demand. Ajivika also helps rural migrant workers acquire other skills like electric work, masonry and plumbing.
जो गांव का लड़का है, कम पढ़ा लिखा है, बाज़ार का उसको ज़्यादा अनुभव नहीं है, वो सीधा किसी बाज़ार में जाता है और उसके हाथ में कोई हुनर नहीं है, तो उसको बाज़ार में काम तो मिल जाएगा और लेकिन जो उसका जिस ट्रेड में वो जाना चाहता है, जिस स्किल में वो जाना चाहता है, उसमें इतना वो कोप अप कर नहीं पाएगा। और जो बाज़ार है आज का, वो उसको काफ़ी समय लगेगा उसको एक कारीगर बनने में। तो ये ट्रेनिंग इसलिए महत्वपूर्ण हो जाती है कि इससे एक तो उस स्किल से, उस हुनर से परिचित हो जाता है और दूसरा उसको बाज़ार में किस तरह अपने आप को प्रस्तुत करना है, इसकी कला उसको आ जाती है।
Ajivika has now extended its services to Ahmedabad and Jaipur with contact centers in both to help migrants who arrive at these big cities. Ratan Lal Meghwal works as a construction labourer in Ahmedabad. He's discovered that the I-card can help him get more than just a job.
तो पहचान पत्र बराबर, इससे हमारी पहचान के होगी और इसी की वजह से हमारे बैंक से लोन ज़रूरत पड़ी, घर में कोई भी ज़रूरत की, उसके हिसाब से हमको ये अपने लोन मिले। इसके पहचान पत्र के हिसाब से हमको ये आगे फ़ायदा हुआ, लोन मिला।
3 years since the project began, Ajivika has issued 22,000 cards through its 4 rural and 3 urban contact centers. With 500,000 migrant laborers in the region, they still have a long way to go. Future challenges include having centers in many more places across India. Meanwhile, Hemraj has found work at a hotel in Udaipur in the housekeeping section. It's a different world from the village, but he's adjusting to this new life.
आजीविका ब्यूरो से ट्रेनिंग लेके मेरे को एक फ़ायदा दुगनी सैलरी हो गई, पहले से काम से दुगनी सैलरी हो गई है। दूसरा फ़ायदा मेरे को वहाँ पे जाने से पूरा अनुभव हो गया, आत्मविश्वास हो गया कि मैं काम सीख के गया हूँ, आजीविका ब्यूरो से काम सीख के गया हूँ और मेरे को रूम बॉय के नाम से पुकारते, सब रूम का काम सीख के गया हूँ। और तीसरी बात मेरे को आत्मविश्वास बढ़ गया है, सब काम कर सकता हूँ मैं।
केलेले तुम्हाला SMS येईल मोबाईल आपली ती कपी लगाय ती गाव आहे।
आज आम्ही आनंदी आहे कारण आता आम्हाला नवीन तंत्रज्ञानामुळे गाई गाभण आहे ते समजलं। या नवीन तंत्रज्ञानामुळे लवकरात लवकर मसरांचा भाकाळ कमी होतो आणि काही प्रक्रिया करायची समजते आणि नवीन तंत्रज्ञानामुळे दुधात देखील प्रमाण वाढलेलं आहे। यामुळे आम्ही आज भरपूर खुश आहोत।
As the largest producer of milk in the world today, India has reason to be proud. The White Revolution of the 1960s led to the creation of milk cooperatives across the nation. Consumers got better quality milk and farmers better prices. But the source of the milk, the humble cow, was largely taken for granted. To Dr. Abdul Samad, Dean of the Bombay Veterinary College, this has been the reason for the country's poor per-cow milk output and high input costs. According to him, the first step to correct the situation is to know more about every cow in India.
I think the key requirement here is setting up a system of animal data recording. Once you have animal data which is dynamic, then you can identify animals which are of high genetics. You would know what are the diseases which are prevalent in the area. You know where the problems in fertility lie, and once you know the real life situation, then probably you will be able to plan it in a better way.
Chittale Dairy is one of the largest dairies in the state of Maharashtra. 400,000 litres of milk from 50,000 farmers pass through its doors every day. Over the years, its small team of 40 health workers had been caring for the milch animals, but with no access to the past data or analysis. Kaka Saheb Chittale, a doyen in the milk business, felt it was time this changed. This is where Dr. Samad stepped in. After extensive field trips, he felt that a comprehensive system of data collection and analysis would be the right answer. The backbone of the system would be software. At the World Bank-sponsored India Development Marketplace 2004, Herdman Software found its funding. A data center was set up at the Chittale Dairy and became the nerve center of the operation. Each day, the field health workers receive a list of animals in need of care. Animals ready for insemination, cows already pregnant, and those with falling milk production are all checked by the health workers. Data is collected, recorded, and reported back to the data center for analysis. To Kaka Sahib, the system is already showing results.
We have a problem of low animal yield. So we want to improve that animal yield, and we find that we have no data for that. And this system gives us the full data about the animals, so that we can locate high yield animals which can be bred again and again.
In the 3 years that the Herdman system has been in place at Chittale Dairy, milk yield has risen by 10%. As more data is gathered and analysed, productivity is expected to improve further. The real winner, though, is the one from whom the whole story started: the cow.
There has been improvement in health of animal because we have got all preventive setup. There is less usage of drugs, so that those drug residues are not there in milk, so milk quality has improved and it has become very consumer and environment friendly.